Record to cloud. So we had our CSP team, FSM team, and Mason also had a really great week last week as well, dropping over $3,000 last week on 9 sales. So around high school. So even though he couldn't attend the event, he still stepped up during the weekend. He had 9 people buy Cutco after the team meeting. So from Thursday through Monday, he wrote up 9 different order forms. You guys catch this? So I just want you to think about Wednesday nights. You guys all witnessed him Wednesday night making all those calls and booking up all those appointments. And he won the cornhole toss last week. But here's the key. He booked up all those appointments last Wednesday. But what did he do before he came in on Wednesday? Anybody remember? So he had his tack list. But maybe you guys recall this. This is something I don't want you guys to overlook. He came into the team meeting with his appointments already booked. And he booked up extra appointments on the Wednesday night, if you guys remember this. He showed up with 5 or 6 or 7 appointments already booked before he got here last Wednesday, if you guys remember this. And then he booked up, RJ just erased the board, but then he booked up another like 5 or 6 from the office. So he had enough appointments booked up. You guys follow? So the best practice there on Mason's behalf is you don't have to wait until Wednesday night to make those phone calls. You could do them on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday before you get here. And then the Wednesday night is the cleanup. So just the best practice there at a Mason's book on how do you write up 9 sales in a weekend? Well, you have to have enough appointments. How do you have enough appointments? Do some phone time before Wednesday, and then on Wednesday night is your cleanup versus the big jam. Just something to think about, because I know tonight we only had a couple of you have 1 or 2 or 3 appointments booked up before you got here, which is a great best practice. Just something to consider for next week moving forward. So I just want to share that with you. Also, an official congratulations to Mason. We'll recognize it next week. Hit his Dirty 30 promotion. You guys saw it on WhatsApp. So is now at 10,000 in sales. He officially qualified for President's Club already, and it only took him 5 weeks, which is really exciting. So 5 weeks at Dirty 30, and jumped up into the number 2 spot in the office. Just grinding 37 sales already written up. So really working hard. So I just want to give a shout out to Mason, also earning a $785 paycheck last week as a high school senior. So let's give Mason one clap on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. I also want to recognize last week Ella Blaisdell. Ella was the number 9 assistant manager in the entire region last week, which is pretty exciting. So all of our assistant managers, their goal and role is to sell at least how much every week? Minimum is how much? 500 a week, minimum. Well, Ella went above and beyond that and sold 843. Minimum expectation is only $500 because they're coaching, they're running interviews, and they're also in school. So at minimum 500. Around that, she sold 843 and was the number 9 assistant manager around her endeavors and everything she had to do, and taking the weekend off to go to the conference, which is really exciting and very impressive. So, and jumped up into the number 7 spot in the office for the campaign. So kudos to you with office pay lockdown, right over $330 in income, which also doesn't suck, working part-time around a busy schedule. So what would you say best practice to maintain at least $500 in sales each week? What would you say?
I just see good customers. I mean, I got a really awesome double sponsorship the other week. She texted all of them. She also bought a couple hundred from me. Already own Cutco. I love Cutco. She knows so many people. So I guess just getting those the recommendations text out really helps them be more excited going into the appointment. Also easier to lock down the appointment. So it's easy to lock down a few appointments when already going away for the weekend. And then they were good appointments locked down.
If we had to do a pop quiz right now to see your outgoing text messages on your phone from the appointments, the last appointments you did, if we did a pop quiz where you had to show someone random in this office on whether or not you had an outgoing text message to a customer, honestly, who would pass that test? If you completed 5 appointments last week, you have 5 outgoing text messages to each of those customers with that text message for them to forward to their friends. Who would pass that pop quiz?
I didn't have 5 appointments.
For each. What about the last 5 appointments? The last 5 appointments that you have. Maybe it wasn't last week, but the last 5. So we got a couple of people here. I'll tell you. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like. Ready? I'll just show you what it looks like. If you don't send the text message, here's what it looks like. So you take this, like this right here. So like this right here. So like you just take these right here.
And then you hand them to me.
And then what you do is you go like this. I thought about it, but I was like, no. That's essentially what you're doing. If you don't have the customer if you don't send the text to your customer and then the customer forward the text, if you're not doing that from the appointment, that's what you're doing. You're just throwing money away. You guys get the point? Okay. So, by the way, this $100 I found in the back pocket of my jeans.
Oh, that's the best feeling ever.
I was like, where the hell did this come from? It's like I gave all my cash to Ella last week. I was like, I don't know where that came from. Honestly, I was like, this is pretty cool. So it might be counted.
I could just say why.
So Ella, great job last week. Let's give Ella Blaisdell a big round of applause. Great job. And Dylan Fitz making over $3,200 last week. Half baby doesn't suck. So really exciting. One of the things I want to plug about Dylan, and for all of you, really, especially the rookies, I had a conversation with Jeff Gamboa, officially announced a full-time promotion for Chelsea and Will as full-time assistant managers for the summer. I talked to Jeff, and what we really have room for, he's like, you could add on as many as you want, but realistically, we have room for probably 4 more assistants in our office. But Dylan is looking for 3 surge promotions. So Trey is looking to earn 1 of them. 2 other people that say, you know what, I like the coaching aspect, I like the recruiting and team building aspect, but this selling thing, if I could sell like Dylan and learn from him, and he can help me sell 50 grand this summer, maybe that's a cool role. You sell 50 grand, you make 20. Just kind of put in perspective there for you, right? Or more, somewhere in that range, right? So you with the bonuses and everything, if that's a direction that excites you, I get this. Let's start that conversation. Sign up for a call with me and say, Mike, I'm all about this whole team building thing and coaching thing, but that sounds pretty cool to learn how to do business gifts. So I'm going to take a quick moment to plug that for you for just a second. I went ahead and I'm going to record this, but I bought the business gift engraving setup, and I put it here so you could see the literature that comes with it, along with some of the engravings of what they look like. You know, the spatula spreader, the hunting knife, the pocket knife there, the fisherman solution, this combo, the little gift set combos with the engravings. So you could take a peek and see what it looks like. And those business gifts, I'm telling you right now, man, what an upside potential. What an upside potential if you were trained by Dylan on how to have these larger orders. He's actually at a meeting right now called the Net Meeting, where part of that meeting is learning how to do business gifts. So just something to think about. Plus service calls on how to sharpen knives, which those of us at the conference learned from Colton on how to do the service call, but then actually being certified for that, along with events where you can set up a booth and sell right from the booth and generate new clientele and new leads, which would be pretty exciting. So just I wanted to plug that just because I might not have room on my staff because we have 9 candidates, and Mr. Gamboa and I are really talking about, we already have 2, we have 11 candidates, we already slotted 2, so we have 9 others. We really want to protect the business model. So I love our assistant manager position, but that surge role for those that are highly motivated individuals that want to sell 50 grand this summer, or at least give the effort to do so, might be something to consider going towards as well. So, all right, let me transition away from that for just a moment. All right. For those of you guys that are moving towards, that are interested in any leadership position, we have our MIT call. Anybody know when that is? Say? When?
Tuesday, February 13th at 5 p.m.
That is correct, RJ. When is it? So managers in training call. So whether you're going for surge or you want to stay in the running for an assistant manager position, you want to have that in your calendar. It's going to be Tuesday. Okay, so it's Tuesday, February 13th. He sent out 3 emails changing the schedule and changing the time, so it's switched. It's Tuesday, February 13th at 5 p.m. So if you want to keep opportunities open, whether it be for surge or for assistant manager for the summer, this is where you're going to continue to keep options, because I got to eliminate people somehow, not from the team, but from the running. And this is a really easy way for me to be able to do so, is those that are doing consistent selling, consistent team building, and showing up for events like the intangibles. So it's almost like I'm trying to watch somebody mess up. So that way I could just take the black marker to their name. I'm just, not that I'm rooting against people, but I got to make it easier on myself to choose, because we have some strong candidates, which is exciting. So and it's making it interesting is all. So it's fun. So keep doing what you're doing. It's almost like an interview. Either way, we want you to sell a ton of knives this summer, but why not being in a capacity where you can grow yourself personally, professionally, and financially too? So as far as that goes, so it's going to be Tuesday. Also that Tuesday, I don't know if you guys saw my WhatsApp post about it, but that's the night that I'm able to go. So I just bought I bought 8 tickets for the state fair at the discounted price. So the conference call is over at 6. So if you wanted to go meet up at the state fair, it's open until probably 11. It'll be a fun team night. So if you guys want to meet up, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it'll be great. I bought 4 adults and 8 adults and 8 kids, or no, 4 and 4, something like that. But it doesn't say kids on it. So I don't know if that matters once we get there. I don't know. But I also got 8 wristband armbands for unlimited rides. So I don't know. So it's unlimited rides, it's unlimited everything, and I got that discounted rate. So if you guys want to join, I'm totally cool. I haven't made that decision. It just depends on who wants to go. It's more open invite. Open invite as far as that goes. You can invite friends. You can use it as whoever you want. I only have that many tickets that I bought, but at the gate it's going to be more expensive. So I just want to take advantage of that special because it's like, dang, that's like $75 off. So I was like, let me just pull the trigger on this. But that's when we're going, or I'm going, and I believe Lindsay's going to meet me there from Tampa. So it'll be a good time. All right. So we got this. Okay. Next thing I want to raffle off. I mentioned last week, you guys may have forgotten, but I didn't. I told you guys a contest for the Padfolio. You guys forgot this contest? Honestly, did anybody forget? Yeah. Well, those that sold didn't forget. So we have in the raffle Savi with 1 entry, RJ 1 entry, Ryan 2, Ella 1, Saf with 3, and Mason with 9. That's how many orders people placed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That was the contest. It was orders placed between Thursday and Monday to try to drive some weekend sales. So I already put everyone's names on tickets in this pot. Everyone's names are on these tickets, and I'll be raffling off this brand new Cutco Padfolio. I think it's going to look sweet. I highly encourage you to write your orders on this, like all your Cutco sales and promos and wish lists and all that. It's pretty sweet looking. So, and the winning ticket is this one right here. It is ML, which is Mason. So Mason, brother, you won. So you won the Padfolio. It's pretty sweet. That's yours. When you come in next week, I'll make sure you get that. So congratulations to you. Last thing before I transition. I have a list of PRs. I wanted to get you to, if I say the name and you know the name, that way I can write your name next to these friends, so that way you get credit, because these are all the friends that are set for training tomorrow. And I also want you to shoot them a text message, saying, hey, looking forward to working with you. Get ready. Mike's awesome. The position's great. Hopefully, whatever it is, good luck type of thing. Because fact is, from their friends and from their family, the only thing they've been hearing since their interview is, you're selling knives, dude. That's so lame. You're not going to be able to do it. That's so dumb. No one's going to buy knives from you. You're out of your mind. You're too busy. You can't, that's all the stuff that they've been hearing, right? So when they get that word of encouragement from you, that could go a long way. That could go a long way. So Deandra is Savi. That's you, right? Then I have a Jesse Prester. That's Ella. And then I have a Josh Cassell. All right. So make sure you're writing this list down, brother, so you text these people. Justin Turk. Mason. And then Kaylin.
Oh, that's me.
Kaylin who?
Kaylin Haskins.
Oh, no, that's not me.
That's mine.
There's 2 of them.
What's her number, by the way?
So Kaylin, you could get it after. Kendall Stevens.
Right here?
Who's that? Savi?
Yeah.
So Kendall Stevens. Louis Monsai.
He was a Craigslist.
It says campus. So that's either Tyler's or that might be Brenda. So that might be, I think that might be Brenda. Matthew Bates.
Right here.
Yeah.
Savi's killing her.
Nice. And then I have Trinity Clark.
I'm pretty sure she was there. And that's mine.
So Lewis is either going to be Brenda or Ella for the campus. email. I gotta just see if it was an email or if it was the table.
Oh, wait, I can check who I sent the email.
Yeah, and then Trinity Clark. Yeah, that was you, Ella, for sure.
Yeah, I sent her an email.
Michael Scott, that's Amanda. And what's cool is Michael Scott, I sent him a text saying, hey, if you know anyone else that you might want to recommend, let me know. And he three-way texted me one of his friends, Alexandria, who's coming in for training, which is pretty cool. So
What was his last name? Mike's a good kid.
Louis Monsai,
I'll look him up.
Monsai. And then I have Devin Boggers.
Yeah, that's mine.
Who's that?
That's mine.
Oh, Chelsea.
Did you talk to him and firm it up with him?
No, I left him a message.
Because he said that he didn't want.
And then I have Hope G. That's a campus. Hope G is going to be either Ella or Brenda. And then I have a Cassie Rogers.
That's mine.
Amanda? So make sure you guys are writing this list down, please, so you can text them. Then I have David Majia, Mejia, David.
If these are from my email, I have no idea.
Okay, and then Haley Jackman. All right, cool. So you guys have your list. So don't shoot them a mass text, but shoot them an individual message, copy and paste, something that, or personalize it if you want, but just make them feel like they're a part of something big, something special. You're excited to work with them. If they have any questions, hey, you could come to me, type of thing. Cool? So what that means, dude, all I got to do is launch these kids, and it goes towards that contest over there. You understand this, right? So I have another 15 set for training next week too. So it's gonna be a good couple of weeks. So just something to monitor there. Great job, Savi. What would you say? I mean, Savi, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Amanda, you have 1, 2, 3. So Amanda, you have 3. Savi, you have 4, and Ella, you have 4, 3 or 4. What would you say your best practice is for anybody else that's like, dang, I gotta step up my PR game, my team building game.
Snapchat takeover.
That is it.
Yeah.
Whose
Training.
takeover do you think took the most? Got the most?
It was just Amanda taking over.
Just Amanda's. Cool. So now we know. So have Amanda take over your Snapchat. And Ella and Amanda, what would you say?
Facebook.
Facebook messaging.
Yeah.
So direct messaging, copy and paste.
And Snapchat takeovers between you and Tyler. You recruited some of my friends that I've been trying to get for them.
So Snapchat takeover and direct messages on Facebook. And Ella, for you?
Well, I did the email blast to all 5 of my classes, so I got most of it was the early college students I replied, which is good. But I post about this on my Snapchat at least every week, saying swipe up, just random things. I can just post in my paycheck. Sometimes I'll just post like selfies in a business outfit and like swipe up. People do.
Nice. So if you have an email that you could send to your classmates,
Super easy.
right?
And
Email? Is that done yet? All right, there. I don't know what you're waiting for. I think they wrote a song about that. What are you waiting for? All right, cool. So we got that. We got that taken care of before we go into our debrief. So we got the PR, State Fair, MIT. Okay, Sunday. Sunday's Super Bowl. So I highly encourage you to capitalize on that if you want to. And what do I mean by that? What is everybody gonna be? Where's everybody gonna be? So everyone's gonna be home. I'm not telling you to go make phone calls during the Super Bowl, but I am saying that there's gonna be a lot of people home. So use your judgment is all I'm saying. Use your judgment. Everyone's gonna be on social media. Everyone's gonna be commenting about commercials. I'm not saying use it as a way to set up demos, but I'm saying use it as a way to make yourself known. Whether that would be sending a mass text message, go Eagles. Maybe it's putting posts out there, whatever it might be. But like, try to use that because your people are going to be actively looking at their social media and their cell phones. Anybody have any best practices or hot ideas on how you can capitalize on that? Ella, what are you thinking?
The first I'd say go Pat, so they know you're cheering for the winning team. But second, I'd say if you are going to like a Super Bowl party, like bring some Cutco gear with you. Like let them use it, and then they'll be like, "Wait, this stuff's really cool" or something.
Hot move.
Maybe someone will notice it and be like, "Oh my gosh, where'd you get it?" And be like, "Oh, that's Savi's over there." And then like you can hand them a business card or something, or give them your information, and then you got a demo right there.
Like that a lot. Now, some people's Super Bowl is not that big of a deal. Like Lindsay, if she wasn't married to me, she would care less. She would care less. right? So some people it's a big deal. Some people like the commercials more than anything, So some people like the halftime show. I don't even know who's doing the halftime show. So some people like the national anthem, whatever it might be. All right, but whatever it might be, if it's not your thing, don't make it a big deal if you don't have to. So just a thought there. So try to capitalize on that if you want to. Here's my question. Last week, I'll be direct with you. We had many of you that didn't have the week you wanted, and many of you were under $500. I'd like to know what is your game plan to bounce back from that? So specifically, Tyler, Amanda, RJ, specifically you guys who were under 500, what is your game plan to bounce back to make sure that you're over 500 this week for those of you that were there last week, so that way you don't go 2 weeks in a row under 500? What do you think? I'll come back to you in just a moment. Think about that. Savi, I'm curious from you, because 2 weeks ago you were under 500, right? So 2 weeks ago you only sold 348, but this week you bounced up to 831, so you got over 500. So while they're thinking about their thoughts, what was your thought? Like, how did you go from under 500 to make sure you got over that 500 threshold from 1 week to next?
Like about 2 weeks ago, that was before I actually had a goal set. I actually set a goal for getting over 1,000 a week in CPO, but I just was really bummed out that I only got 300. So I just started grinding. I actually had some phone time before the call jam, and I set some appointments up beforehand. So it was just because I was a bit bummed out. I wanted to just get out of my little hole. So
got pissed and decided to book up some extra appointments and make sure that you got over that 500 threshold. Sounds like I like it. That's enough sometimes. That's all it takes sometimes, is just, get frustrated and be like, okay, I'm not going to get bummed out where I bury myself further into this hole. I'm going to get myself out of this by doing some extra work. So I like that. So come to you guys, RJ, Tyler, Amanda, those of you guys that were under that 500. What do you think? What are some of the moves that you're going to make this week to make sure you bounce back from that?
I definitely think that last week a big problem that I had was I don't know what it was about. Like the person that I got basically all my appointments in the same list, and I called them, and the lady that gave me that list was she was MH3, she was great. She bought a homemaker. But everybody that was on the list, they were all homeowners and they were married, but they weren't necessarily the best prospects. And also, I just didn't do enough appointments. I only did 4 appointments last week, which just isn't enough to get to where I want to be.
Got it. So this week you booked up more.
Yeah.
And you went through a different list.
I went through a different list. I went through and talked to my the people who I did my appointments with. And hey, can you tell me about these people? And a lot of my mom people that hadn't picked up or anything like that. She talked to them and basically explained how
best prospects.
Prospects who they think that would be in best interest to call.
I think it's simple. I think we'll see some improvement. Do you guys have any additional thoughts for you?
I'm just going to do more follow-up phone time tomorrow. I booked a few, but not my goal. So I'm just going to do more phone time tomorrow.
Cool. What time?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. phone time. You guys heard that, right?
I'm already going to be here watching you. So
love that. You'll jam with them. They'll be jamming at 7 p.m. too. Anything to add on to it?
Actually having a decent amount of appointments set ahead of me for this week. This past year I've had 1 or 2 appointments set up, but now I have 4 and I'm not near my goal either, so I have to go jam tomorrow morning.
Cool. So this is what time tomorrow morning?
10:30 after my interviews.
So 10:30 a.m. So it's like brunch phone time. All right, we'll give it a shot. So these are a couple of ideas for you, okay? A couple of ideas, things that might work. And I just want to share that because some weeks you might need to bounce back, and at least we're all human. It just happens. So it comes down to prospecting, some extra calls, getting a little frustrated and bouncing back with some effort. Good. Also, I want to recognize, even though RG had a bad week, he still won a trophy. That Petite Santoka is pretty sweet.
That was nice.
Yeah, won a trophy, top 5, top 7 in the whole region last week. So way to make a name for yourself and get recognized in front of the whole region. So that was really exciting. So good, strong week first week. Even though last week wasn't what you wanted, you still earned that trophy, which was really hot. So congratulations to you as far as that goes. What I want to before we break out, why would you want to sell 500 a week? Okay, simple, just something to think about, okay? Why would you want to sell 500 a week? And you can write it down. You can take a mental note. It's very simple. I want you to think about it. from now until the end of the campaign is how many weeks? You got 12 weeks, okay? If you sell 500 a week on average for 12 weeks, you're going to sell another how much? $6,000, right? That means everyone at a brand new bare minimum, you're going to make $1,000 over the next 12 weeks, okay? But you're going to be at 25% commissions by the time summer rolls around. And with what you already sold this campaign, you'll hit President's Club and you'll be at 30% in every case, just about, right? So you'll be at 30% commissions if you just maintain that $500 a week. But here's the best part. It's consistency. Consistency. You never break that pattern. You never break that habit. And you just stay at that 500. But on top of that, you're going to help the team hit some goals. We want to hit 200K for the campaign. Right now we're at 95,000. So it's if each of you do your part and just get to 500 a week, well, that's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 bucks baked in the cake every week. Plus we have our new training classes every week. We're going to stay around that $10,000 to $15,000 range over the next 12 weeks. So we can sell another $100,000 and hit 200K for the spring to pace towards a $1.4 million year. You guys follow? Plus whatever Dylan sells. So it all comes together if you just do your part. So if you do your part, the team's going to do our part. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring back for the next few weeks something called the Focus 500, okay? Focus 500. For every $500 you sell every week, just like I did for this Padfolio thing, for every $500 you sell, I'm going to put a raffle ticket in there. And I just bought a list of Cutco items that I'm going to be raffling off every single week over the next several weeks. So every week I'm going to be raffling off a bunch of prizes. So let me read off. I'm going to raffle off, ready for this? A Hardy slicer, a cleaver, can opener, barbecue set, cheese knife, Santoku trimmer, pizza cutter, fisherman solution, pocket knife, an outdoorsman, bird's beak paring knife, and a 4-inch paring knife. So every week, one of those items are just going to go out at random. All you got to do is sell 500 to get in the raffle, and every 500 after that gets you an extra ticket. You sell $1,000, you get 2 tickets. 1,500, you get 3 tickets for the week, Tuesday through Monday. Cool? Just to at least get to that 500. So if it's Monday and you're at 480, I expect you to push for that extra $20, that cutting board, so that way you can get to that 500 and get in the raffle. You guys follow? I want you to push for this. And that's why I just dropped whatever that is, $1,500 in Cutco, $2,000 in Cutco. So that way I can motivate you guys to hit that level. Cool? And I picked out some prizes I don't think you guys have. Cool? You guys like that? It starts this week. So starts next Wednesday, we'll raffle off the first item. So kudos to all of you guys that are ready to rock and roll. That is everything I have on my agenda for tonight outside of debriefing this event. So what I want to do is I want to have Chelsea, and we'll bring Will to that. So Chelsea and Will, you guys can collaborate and debrief together because you were in the same workshops together. Ella, Tyler, and Amanda were all in pretty much the same breakouts together. And then RJ and Sabi, I'm gonna count on the two of you and lean on the two of you for this to really lead this discussion for Saf, Ryan, and Brenda. So that way you could go talk by talk. We have about 25 minutes, okay, to go through each of the talks. I printed out the agendas so that way you have these so you remember what your breakouts were and you remember what your breakouts were. And I want you guys to go talk by talk. Take 3 to 5 minutes for each of the talks, maybe 3, so we're in between, somewhere in that range. Take your biggest 3 light bulbs or biggest 3 takeaways. You're not teaching the whole talk. You're just pulling out the 3 biggest takeaways from each of them and then moving on. Does that make sense? Give them enough time to take notes for those that weren't there and then move on. Questions, comments, thoughts? Chelsea?
Okay, so this is just like a comment, kind of like a light bulb I noticed on the drive up. So remember, like Robert Dylan Fitz, like so you know this, but he was making phone calls like the entire time. So he was driving, but he was having someone sit in the passenger seat, dialing his phone call so he could follow up with past customers. And honestly, that was one of the best practices, like just one of them that I took before we even got to the conference. So I just want to throw that in there.
Love that. I'm glad you threw that in there. There was a guy, John Rivas, who hired his little brother to drive him around so he could sit in the backseat in phone time in between all of his appointments. Now he works for Vivint and made $780,000 last year.
Who, that kid?
Yeah, same kid. He started with Cutco at sales when he was 17, 18, and now he's like one of the executives for Vivint. And he made almost $800,000 last year. I saw him at Tony Robbins. That's how I know that. You guys follow? Cool. So, cool. So, Will, why don't you you could FaceTime Chelsea, and then Ryan, I'll have RJ take you. Are you still there, Ryan? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Excellent. So RJ, you could take Ryan. You could facilitate you and Sabi. This is a good leadership management opportunity for you guys. And then three of you guys can target your best practices. I'll turn on some background noise and some music. And then if you guys want to do a team night afterwards, I'm down. Other than that, you guys go ahead and start sharing some best practices.
All right.
Turn on a little bit of background noise.
So first of all, probably the number one thing that I learned all throughout the entire conference was the talk by Josh Mueller.
Let's go talk by talk.
He was basically talking about upselling, and the number one thing that I really got out of that was basically don't stop trying to sell until they say no. Like once, and I think a quote from him was, when they say yes,
First yes is where everything
the
begins.
first yes is where everything begins. It only ends when they say no.
Yeah, because most of the time, like when I just get when they say they want something, I was like, oh, let's type it in and the order's through.
Yeah, sometimes feel like a lot of people will feel like that sale is the finish line, and you got there and you're finally there, and then it's like, all right, I love you, bye, whatever, all right, and then you leave. But he basically just taught us how to go about upselling, how to keep pushing, like, it would just make sense to get this, keep on going until they say no, and then until they say no, your appointment isn't finished. Keep trying to go forward with that.
Want to go over the steps over that?
Yeah, sure.
Just quickly, just going over the steps of upserving because they're just really amazing. The step one is get your timing right. What you want to do, put in what they need first in the order, and then go into the bundles right after that. And the perfect timing for that is when they first hand you their credit card, because it's basically like a safe zone. Like they're in your hands now. You have their credit card. So,
and I've personally done this before. I basically had a locked-in sale of like $300, $400, and then in between like them giving me the card and me basically getting them to attempt the sale, I tried to sell them like I think some flatware, and they're like, honestly, I just want to talk with my spouse, and I tried to talk to them like, oh no, it's okay, and then in the end I ended up getting a no sell out of that, and I still got some wrecks, I got some calls out of that, but
yeah.
a lot of it is about timing and making sure that you've already got the sale and then make some more.
Exactly. And step two is re-engage in the sales mindset, because in their minds it's over. They're about to buy. Everything's over. So just re-engage them in the sales mindset. So just nonchalantly bring up something they're interested in. If they're interested in gardening or something, be like, we also sell garden sets and anything they want. So,
yeah.
And there's
what
also
was it, just so you know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
While you have their credit card in your hand, just so you know, there's some key phrases, just so you know, more you spend, the more you save, and also just presents the bundles and,
Yeah. Because you can talk about how you bundle together, like, oh, if you get a homemaker and you get a flatware chest, I can give you the entertainer pack and the kitchen tool set for completely free.
Yeah.
Just make sure they know they're getting more stuff for free, and they're getting a bit better deal if you give them more, if they do buy more, which will put them, like you said before, getting them in that sales mindset.
Yeah. And step three is just knowing what to show them and what not to show them. He said to purposely put something they wouldn't like.
No, well, yeah, he talked about like if they do say something, that there's something they don't like that you're like while you're showing them the thing, then make sure to like kind of avoid that. And then it was if they're ever like after you've done your sale, if there wasn't anything that they specifically pointed out like, oh, I love this, oh, I don't like this. At the beginning you talk to them a little bit about, learn a little bit about them, build some rapport, and they talk about how they have a garden out back. So you say, what was the key words? It was like, don't you just wish? Like, do you ever wish that you had a garden tool set that you would just never lose and it could last forever? And then they say, oh, well, yeah, of course. So then you're like, oh, well, we actually have a garden tool set for you to get. It's only X dollars. You can put it on the 5K, and that just helps it out. You always want them to you either need to tell them that they need it, they would wish to have it,
Yeah.
or basically talk about a complaint, like or sort of
struggles.
yeah, anytime like, oh, doesn't it just suck when you're out in the garden and you're looking for the shovel and you just can't find it anywhere, and then like a month later you look and you see, oh, it was on the ground the whole time. Well, basically Cutco has fixed that by making the handles not green. So you like just basically present the problem that they didn't know they already had, and then fix it with Cutco.
Yeah. And another big part of that is ask permission to show them. So it's like, can I show you this stuff? Don't just go right into, just don't jump in. Here's all the stuff. So, it seems more friendly. And I never even got the back pocket specials. He didn't email me back.
Oh, really? He didn't email you back? Well, basically, there's a couple of things. I don't know exactly what it is. What was it, the PB&J special? It's like you sell them the homemaker and you can get them both of the knives for free, which can like help out with the
Yeah,
sale.
he has like a whole bunch of back pocket specials that that's a plan B.
Things that you wouldn't think about when you're selling them, but like say you sell.
You have Ryan still there, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we do. Like if you have, so like I said, the homemaker, you can get them part of the homemaker for free. They can buy part of something and then get the rest of it for free, which you wouldn't really think about, but it ends up working out in the end if you do that. Those are just kind of some of the back pocket specials that he was talking about.
So step 4 is just give them to want right now. So, there's some key phrases like, since you're doing this, if you're doing this, I can do this, and it just makes sense. So basically, just giving them more reason to buy right now instead of just saying, oh, can I get that later?
So yeah, it's like once you've already put them in the mood, and once you've already basically given them the problem to fix and fixed it with Cutco, then when you're actually pushing what you want to sell, you can talk like those 3 phrases. Since you're doing this, since you're doing the homemaker, if you want to do the entertainer pack, what I can do is actually give you a veggie peeler for free, which I know you liked earlier. So you basically just work out the deals, make sure that they are getting the best for them, what they would want.
Yeah, one of my favorite key phrases was, it just makes sense.
Yeah. Doesn't it just make sense to get this? Because you get all this cool free stuff.
Step 5 is the 3 rules. Just always offer. Just keep on offering until they say no. When they take up, I can't read my handwriting. When they take up,
Always offer. When I take my, I don't know what you said. Basically, just you even after every time you keep selling, every time you make a sale and you want to upsell, even if you upsell them and then you end up selling them an entertainer pack with a free veggie peeler or something like that, don't stop. You just want to
keep on going until they say no.
Yeah, even if it's 1 in every 4 appointments or 4 sales that you end up actually succeeding on an upsale, maybe 1 in those 4 will end up being able to upsell again and again and again. Maybe 1 in every 200 will end up getting you like that 1 lucky. You just keep on going, but even then, it's still worth it if it happens 1 every 4 times or anything like that. So a lady told her that she's gonna do the demo, but she's not gonna buy anything.
So like a lot of dollars. Oh, I'm not sure with the 15-minute fun guarantee.
So I brought out the
and the 4 main really like you type in the creator to see it. She was like,
And that's all it took.
gotta have it.
So that she didn't even, the lady told her over the phone, told her at the appointment that she wasn't going to buy anything. Once she showed her the actual cutlery, the lady just fell in love and knew that she had to buy something from her.
Cutco basically just sells itself.
And that's the thing you gotta remember.
All right.
They gotta have it in the
Yeah.
You gotta make them
Do you want to go with the rocking service calls or like phone service?
I would say phone service. We're not doing service like well.
Yeah.
I mean, most of us are.
Like the service calls, it was like really cool. We're not even like the three of us are not even qualified.
Yeah. So, no, I'm not qualified to do sir. None of us finished company yet. So basically, part of
Yeah, actually, I was doing a service call while we were doing a demo. So.
yeah. So basically, the next thing we're going to talk about is phone success, and I was created by Carter Hayes, who is probably the most how should I say this? The most prolific phone caller that I've seen, ever. Basically, he basically pushed the things that we talk about, but like to the next level. It's always mention 2 times, smile when you call, and he mentioned this thing called calling during a song, where basically if you start a song on your phone and you make a phone call, it actually stops the song while you're on the call. He does that. That's awesome.
Dylan
basically,
does it.
you see, and so the time in between the calls, your song will keep playing. So you see how many calls you can fit in before the song ends. So if the song is a 3-minute song and you make it last a half an hour, that means you're doing your job pretty well.
Yeah. Also, just key stuff, give them a sense of urgency, just so they can have it. Just have a sense of urgency. I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty.
Also, make sure you're filling up on your appointments. Like, obviously, like send the confirmation number too, but like making sure that they're not just like, oh, I mean, I might be able to do it here, and then just can you just pencil me in? If they're not available now, they're going to be available soon. And then there's one thing that I wanted to really talk about, which is basically like the dirtiest trick you'll ever see on the phone. So if you're ever on the call with someone and they're like, oh, I'm super busy, I can't talk right now. Can I give you a call sometime tomorrow? And you say, of course, yeah, you can call me tomorrow. What time? And they say, oh, well, I mean, I can do it around 4 o'clock. Can I give you a call then? I'm like, well, actually, I actually have a free time for some free time for an appointment then. Do you think we can do an appointment at 4 o'clock tomorrow? Oh, sure. They didn't even know they were walking into a trap.
Yeah.
They basically just said, oh, well, you're going to come on in. I'm going to come over. We're going to do this demo.
Yeah. Also, another thing I like, the first 15 minutes, fun guarantee. Have fun in the first 15 minutes of the appointment. They just kick you out the house.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell them, hey, if you don't like me, just kick me out of the house. And they're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. And then honestly, I'm not like big on speeches. Like I don't do a lot of listen to a lot of speeches or anything like that. I don't listen to TED Talks, but the speech that Brian Hurlman gave,
that changed my life.
That changed my life. Basically, if you're not working on your own success and progressing yourself, you're letting someone else progress themselves.
Yeah.
If you're not working towards yourself, you're letting someone else work towards themselves, and you're losing out. And also, if you think about the pyramid of needs, I forgot exactly what it's called, but a lot of people will start at the base, where it's like the basic necessities. Like you work at McDonald's so you can afford food, a house, and then get some needs, your basic needs and human needs. And then at the very top, there's things like influence and accomplishment, and your spheres of influence, where you have people who look up to you, and you can talk to people, and you can influence people. And basically talked about how if you start, a lot of people start at the bottom, work their way up, and most people never get to that influence part. A lot of people never become really important to the people who they are surrounded by, and who they surround. But he basically talked about if you start from the top and you work from your influence and work down, everything else will come to you. So if you start with the influence and you get people to hear about you and they know about you, food, shelter, and basically everything else you could ever want in life will come.
Yeah,
it will all come.
But so top of the pyramid is just like growing as a person. So there's also love and connection, significance, and just down from there. So I mean, just starting at the top is what you want to do in life.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah. Also, one of the cool things that I really saw was near the end. It wasn't really a talk, but it was the award ceremony. I wasn't going to go. I was going to come home and do some more appointments when I got there. But I'm really glad that I got to go, just because it's just cool to see the progression of people, seeing all the promotions, and the people who there was a guy who sold. There are people who sold $300K plus in a year, which is honestly just insane.
And the awards they give.
Yeah.
That sword.
Yeah.
You
get a sword if you sell $150K.
I don't care about the Rolex. I don't care about the BMW.
Yeah. You get a Rolex. If you sell $220K, you get a Rolex. So 150K, you get a sword. And that's basically just like if you keep working at it. If you become a CSP, those are easy options. If you become a manager, assistant manager, work your way up to branch, get to district, and you branch sells 750K, you get a sword, a freaking sword. And
Dude, Mike
also,
has a sword.
yeah, just the raw number of people,
They were on this walk.
and also like the raw number of people who got promotions, like to branch manager or district manager. It was just insane. Like everybody,
75 people got
Yeah.
branch manager.
basically everybody who just keeps at it and keeps working and stays consistent and keeps with their, keeps setting up PR, setting up sales, doing good as a manager, doing good as a CSP, the success will come. It's all about sticking with it and just making sure that you're
And
doing
all
it
of
every
us,
week.
all of us sitting right here, we're all on pace to be in like the same line. So
Yeah.
that's really cool thing.
As long as we stick with it and we stay, doing what we're doing, the path is open. Whether you want to go down CSP, whether you want to make your 10K and leave, whether you want to become an AM, whether you want to go all the way through cut through college, the opportunity is there. You just got to capitalize on it.
There's another great one about recommendations.
Oh yeah, that was good.
So
Mr.
yeah,
Lester.
so recommendations start on the phone. And you think recommendations are just the last step, but it's part of the entire process, even from the phone call. So start on the phone. Basically just mention on the phone. We work through referrals, and they said so and so said you're nice enough to help me out. So just little mentions about referrals, just to have in the back of their head. Yeah, name dropping.
And also sending the, basically, people will put down the people who they know they'll definitely buy something, but get them to our people who will both just listen to you because they will buy, and also get them to write down people who you tell them, I will send you a heads up text. You send that to all the people that you are going to, that I'm going to show, or that I'm going to call, and that's going to give them more confidence in that. If they don't want to be called, they can just text you, and I'll tell them, like, if they reply to you and say, oh, I don't want any of that, don't do anything, I'll tell them they can text me, and then I will cross their name off my list and I will not call them. So that just basically gets them to write down a whole lot more people. Yeah, that's.
So, and first thing I say is, my name is Mel. And I said, Mel, I want you to push it back and say, this is what the guy told me before. Now tell me the names of some people you know that definitely won't buy.
Because everybody who definitely won't buy will
There's a
probably
chance.
buy.
Yeah.
You don't know.
There's always
They
a
don't
chance.
know. They have no idea. They just think.
Yeah, just mention that we're not looking for people that would buy, just people nice
No,
enough.
tell somebody that you definitely
They won't buy,
that won't buy.
and they'll buy. Even if it's not on the first one, even if it's not on the second one,
It's a night.
even if it's one, it's still a
They might
sale.
have 5 people with them.
And they might have one person, they might have that one hidden gem that through that one guy who wasn't going to buy, and then they recommended someone who ended up buying, a homemaker or a good set. So that makes amazing sense. That's
Another
great.
power move I really liked was handing over 2 pens instead of 1. So just if you run out of,
And
if you just run out of ink.
Don't just give them a recommendation sheet and a pen. Give them a stack of recommendation sheets and 2 pens just in case you run out of ink. I remember the lady there had over 500 recs in one appointment.
Yeah.
It was a 3-hour appointment. She had I think it was 536 recs, one appointment.
She said, you know how you say like 100, 200? Oh, I'm just kidding. Well, she doesn't say.
She doesn't say she's kidding.
She said 100, 200 people.
Because then they don't have the idea of, I only have to write down 10 or 20. And obviously at the beginning you're like, don't let them write down only 5 or 6. And even if most of them do stop at 10 or 20, it's the same thing with that upselling thing. There's going to be an appointment where somebody puts down 50. In a sample size large enough, there's going to be an appointment like that. And that's going to make your day. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing. Don't ever say, I can do this, or I'm going to do this. And everything, RJ, that doesn't make any sense. That's setting goals for yourself. Say, I did this.
Yeah.
Do it. Don't tell anyone. You can tell people about it, but don't hype yourself up like that. Do it, and then let everybody, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. It's not about promises, it's about actions. Yeah, home shows. There was a home shows presentation, but we can't really do.
Yeah, we
Shows
not
maybe
even
at 30K.
shows yet. But
Yeah.
rocking service calls, I guess we can just go over.
Yeah, once we get to once one of us does like an appointment, or like maybe we can tag along with one of our managers who already knows how to do a service call and do sharpenings. It's basically like a 15-minute appointment where you just sharpen their knives, and then you basically sneak the book open, like keep the sharpening tools under your presentation, or just under your knives, and just like bring out all the stuff like, oh, how'd that get here? And obviously you can do it like completely like joking, like, oh, how?
Yeah.
I guess I may as well just show you some of the new deals we got, and then just go over like, oh, well, we actually have this, we have this, we have this, and that's just basically how you make sales on people who
Did
already
he mention like, oh, and I'm going to show you some cool new stuff just
Yeah,
in
yeah,
case
yeah.
you want it?
Yeah. Show them the latest and greatest.
Yeah, so I mean, the service calls, it says just go straight for the knives. And then after that, that's when you just nonchalantly just bring the blue book out and show them all the cool new stuff.
I use the blue book.
Just flip through the catalog. Exactly.
We also learned a lot about flatware.
Yeah.
I love the flat.
Yeah. Because flat, it just keeps going back to the same thing. It won't happen every time. You're gonna get a lot of no's, but you're gonna get some yeses. And even it's same thing.
You got the wish list.
Wish lists.
They said don't make it a wish list
Make it a
because it's something like it's not achievable.
It's a dream. It's
It's a dream.
I have wishes. I want to be a celebrity. I want to be this.
Yeah, he said a want list or a like list. But
Except you'd like to buy them.
some flatware stuff. Said it's the sexiest stuff we make. I've hit a couple people with, we sell jewelry, right?
Yeah. Call the flatware jewelry.
And they stack evenly because they're all built the same exact way. So
Yeah.
that's
like with
that's a
upselling.
good thing to know. They're the pieces, so you can just send one piece back if it gets like messed up or something, and they'll just replace that individual piece. And also, if they lose their shine, just send the set back, and they'll be real sparkly.
When I come back to this stuff.
So if you guys ever wrapped up, so wrap it up a little bit, respect everyone's time.
All right. So just like to recap on everything we talked about and then talk about the meeting. Upselling.
You guys have your plan.
Once you make the sale, the appointment's just starting.
Just keep
Keep
observing
selling.
in your mind.
Keep going until they say no twice. They have to say no twice. Phone calls. Smile when you call. Do the song thing. Play a song. Make a call. All the time in between that call that you're wasting. That's seconds on the song.
Yeah.
So make that 3-minute song last 30 minutes. You want to take this next one?
Yeah, I mean, I also wanted to say something about mastery of observing. Just because he's like, at first he'd say, oh, I'm gonna sell $7,500 to you, like you just list out $7,500. They're gonna say no. They're
Yeah.
like, that's way too much money. But you're gonna show them the stuff that was already on the list and make it look even cooler while you have their credit card in the hand.
And before they
it's
even
gonna
realize
happen.
it, they sold what they just told you they're not going to sell. They're not going to buy.
So
Also, like for PRs, don't joke about that 200, 300. Have a stack and 2 pens. Even if they say, oh, I only know cool people, like you said, just be like, tell me who will definitely not buy, because some of them will buy, and some of those could lead to bigger sales in the future. It's about good prospects. They're going to write down the good prospects. The bad prospects are you make what you make of them. If they're a bad prospect and they don't buy, they could give you a good prospect and they'll buy. It's just that simple.
Yeah, and also the Chatham trick, the old dirty Chatham trick. Keep that in the back of your head, and the 15-minute guarantee.
Yeah. And also, that's the best year ever. You got this. If you're not improving yourself, you're improving someone else.
Exactly.
All right.
So, you guys got a lot for this.
Yeah.
Any light bulbs?
Any light bulb staff?
Well, yeah, definitely like that quote that you said. If you're not working for yourself, you're letting someone else win. Definitely, I agree with that for sure. And then also like the different tricks, like especially for upselling, making sure that you're constantly thinking about getting something better and making sure that they're thinking about getting
Just
something
in your
better.
mind, like, what else can I give them?
Yeah. And it's not necessarily what else can I sell. It's what else would they want, and what else? Yeah. What else? What else do they need? What do they need that they don't already know they need?
And a big part about that is just showing them the entire picture.
And just remember this one last thing. They don't know what they need until you show it to them.
Exactly.
It always comes down to that.
The other thing is knowing what to show. That
Yeah.
I really like that because you have to really think about it. Try to get as much information when you do
Yeah.
and just like the snapshot of them. So that when you go there, you got some idea.
Yeah.
When you go to anybody's home, everybody's got something they're proud of.
So I'm gonna move it from 1:30 to 7:30.
Something seriously they're proud of, something they collect, or it's maybe weird to you.
Yeah.
Like I collect elephants. You mentioned my elephant. I collect teacups. So those are things that are important to me.
That's something you look for just for a report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, even the smaller
I
things.
get down on the floor with dogs. I've seen them do it, and they're just like, and he sounds.
Yeah. And even like the smaller things, like almost every adult drinks either coffee or tea. Like most adults drink coffee or tea, right? So even though it's only $17, a Utopian coffee subscription, they can add up. Like even the smallest things, no matter what it is, whatever you're adding on, over time it'll compound, and you'll end up getting a huge. It'll end up paying off in a huge.
They wouldn't even really have to worry about the monthly payment option either, because there's just a one-time payment option as well. So I mean, if they really like it, they're gonna just keep on coming.
Yeah, $17 is nothing because it's probably
Exactly.
it's really better.
And if you just spent $500 on knives, what's $17
Exactly.
for some great coffee?
Oh, is it?
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're pretty good, RJ.
You're pretty good too, sir.
You both do very well.
I don't
Thank
like paper
That means you're paying attention.
Oh, it was actually
Yeah, it was great.
it was
It was
experience.
great.
Riveting, you know.
It really was. Just watching all these people that sold over millions.
Yeah, we.
Yeah,
we
Colton.
saw
He
Colton.
talked. He was the one that talked about service calls.
Yeah. You just got to know it.
There you
Cool.
go.
Excellent. So, how did you guys feel about that? Was that good? Got some goods? Good. So, Ryan, if you guys can get a call, you can set up a Calendly. If you haven't, I should have my calendar set up for next week, and we'll connect and we'll debrief as well. Make sure you assign a time with your coach before you leave. So, Ryan, I'll pass you over to.
Is Ryan still on that?
Yeah, let me end this recording.
Brian was trying to schedule a call with you.
Do you want to stop cloud recording?